Hello, Aries. Welcome to your reading of November the 12th through the 18th, 2023. My name is Dawn. You're listening to Dawn Williams Tarot. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow our community. Thank you so much for that. And if you're returning, thank you for returning because your energy really does help build the energetic signature of these readings. I am working with the archangels this month, specifically due to my guidance from my higher self and my my guides. Specifically, I have been working with Metatron, who is the angel that oversees all the other archangels, right? So he's Archangel Metatron. I am also working with Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Sandalphon. They all have different jobs that they do, and when I was learning about them, there's specific tasks that I give them to help me with grounding my space, protecting my home, all those kinds of things. The thing about the archangels is they are more than willing to work with you, but you have to ask. We are a free will humans or spirit in bodies. So because of that, you actually have to give permission for them to help and work with you, okay? So this, when I was starting this round of readings, I was asked, I sat down in meditation and I asked what we wanted to talk about and all those things. And I've got quite a few notes here because I always take notes. One of the interesting things that I was shown was to really talk about the new moon that's coming up on the 13th. So that new moon is in Scorpio. And the way that the placement is I don't have an astrology, I don't have astrology software, but I've gotten this information from 3 other astrologers who do have astrology software. And the way that this new moon is hitting in the planetary alignments is that it is in Scorpio, but we are in Scorpio season. So that's okay. But it's like a double or a triple Scorpio accent. I don't know. They talked and I just kind of went, wow. So basically what they're saying is that this energy is very, very strong in that Scorpio energy. So what does Scorpio energy embody? Scorpio is about secrets and the hidden things that have been hidden for a long time. So Scorpio is about transformation and it's about empowerment. It's also about your spiritual gifts because those are, a lot of times those spiritual gifts, a lot of people don't know you have them, right? So those are kind of a hidden quality that we may have. It's also about death and rebirth. And I will say that so far in all the readings I have been, and not only just the readings for this specific week, but also what I was picking up across the board of my last group of readings as well, is that there is a lot of transformation happening. And that transformation is not easy to work through. If you think about a lot of times, we don't really care about change. We really don't like change. But that's what transformation is all about, right? So Scorpio is also about the secrets and the hidden side of life. So expect to see some disclosures about the hidden things that will, and the thing that's really important about that is even though we really don't like to know that there's child trafficking and that there's all of these bad things that are happening, you know, it kind of was the big thing was the big, you know, drugs were what the cartels were really all about. But in reality, what we're finding out is no, it's really human trafficking on every level, right? And it goes really high up, you know, high up the chain. I think a lot more information is going to come out about that. So just be aware that that is an energy you may run into, okay? The guidance that Spirit gave me for this next week, and as this stuff starts surfacing, is that you really need to flow like water, which I know water would put out fire, but you just need to flow basically, right? Allow yourself to recognize and realize that all the things that are really happening on the planet are things that are completely out of your control. And because they're out of your control, what is it that allows us to agonize over those things? I mean, do we have empathy? Absolutely. But does that shut us down? Does that empathy shut us down? Does that empathy close us off? Right? I was reminded this morning when I was doing my meditations that we are here and we are love beings. We thrive on love. And those things that are happening, especially when you're thinking about what's happening in Israel and what's happened in the Ukraine and all the wars and all the stuff that has come up, and then the losses that we have had, like with all what happened with Maui, and there's just so much, and we're just getting bombarded left and right, so that I think it feels to me like this is kind of sabotage energy, because, and why I say that is because so much of what we really need to do and really need to heal in order for us to really ascend and to move up and to graduate from this, you know, third dimensional level is we have to heal all that hidden stuff that is surfacing. So this is a doorway. I feel like it's a doorway that humanity is stepping through, specifically this month. But I feel like this energy is going to be around for a while. So just be aware of all of that. And then also realize that these things may trigger you and you may feel as though you want to shut down your heart space, but don't do that, because we need open hearts. We need people to level up. We need people to do all of this hidden work. It is my belief that we all came here, we signed up, we put our hand up and said, oh, Earth is going to transition, but it's a bit muddy and it's a bit ugly. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this together. We will raise our vibration so we can help everything move up, right? So those are my thoughts about that. Okay, so the other thing is I have two crystals that I'm working with in these readings. These are the two crystals. You can't really see much about them. They just look crystal clear like water, right? Like ice. They're beautiful, actually. I got this one first, and then I got this one a couple years later. And the thing that is amazing about these is these are called sentient plasma quartz. And it seems as though, from the research that I've done, that there's only one place that these specific rocks come from, these stones come from. And they're high up in a mountain. I've read different things. Some people have said that they come from the Himalayas. Other people have said, no, they come from Colombia, up in the mountains of Colombia. So I'm not really exactly 100% sure where they come from, but what I can tell you is that these stones actually pick their owners. It isn't like you pick them like you do other rocks. And my story behind that is I went to a gem show when I was living back east. And I happened to walk in this gem show, and there was just, it was a huge building, and there was just vendors everywhere, right? For whatever reason, I kind of winded my way back to the back. Now, you know that all the best stuff is in the front, right? Those people probably had asked that they wanted to be closer to the door, you know, because of prime property. But I went all the way to the back, and there was a woman back there who had a couple of tables set up, and she had a beautiful display. But whatever, I walked directly to her table, and she had this little basket, and she had a few of these stones in there, but it was not like it was close to the front where you could easily, you know, get to those stones. She had them kind of back, and I didn't realize at the time it was because they were special. And I reached in, and this is the one that I picked up. This is the one I was drawn to. I picked it up with my left hand. I'm right-handed, so this was odd. I picked it up with my left hand, picked it up, put it by my heart. And within seconds, I just started sobbing, right? Like a baby. And I was like so embarrassed, because it's kind of like I was around all these people. There was like, it was really crowded in that show. And I just started bawling, right? Crying. And the woman who had the stand, or who had this place, she looked at me and she said, "Boy, that stone really affected you." And I said, "Yeah, it really has." I go, I have never had an experience like this before. And I said, "And I can't seem to stop, you know, crying." And she says, "Well, I really feel as though that stone has picked you." And she goes, "And it's really funny, because that's how it works with those types of crystals, you know, these quartz crystals." And I said, "Well, what is it that's so special about them?" So then she told me the story as to how these were, you know, hand cut. They were hand picked. They had to be brought down this mountain. It's not like a really big operation. There's not that many of them. They're very special. And she called them this sentient plasma quartz. I never thought anything about it really at the time. So I asked her, I said, "So, you know, how much do you want for this?" And she says, "I want to give it to you as a gift, because it's obvious that this is meant to be yours." And I said, "Oh man," you know, I was just floored that she was willing to give me one of these special crystals. And so I told her, I said, "Well, you know, I know that you're here to make money. So if you were to sell this crystal, what would you sell it for?" And she told me the price. And I would have immediately put this crystal down, because it was, you know, I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg on a crystal. And I told her, I said, "You know, this is a beautiful gift, and I'll accept this, but I do want to give you a tip," right? So I did give her money, because I believe in fair exchange. I believe that if you get a service, that you should be, you know, you should give something back, right? If somebody's going to give you something as a gift from their heart, you should give something back. That's just the way that I feel, the way that I believe. So I did give her some money as an exchange. She accepted it, and I was quite happy. I started working with this stone, and then a couple of years later, I went to a different gem show, and I picked up this stone, which this one has a baby. Can you see the baby attached to this one? It's two stones in one. And again, the person that had that only had 3 stones, and it was in this tinier little thing, and it was behind glass. Like they had it in a display, right? So I looked at it and I asked the guy, I said, "So can I look at this stone?" And he said, "Yes." And again, it was kind of like the same thing. It was meant to come home with me. I didn't start bawling, crying. But I knew exactly what it was, and I asked him if that's what it was, and he says, "I absolutely have no idea, but I know that it is. It is the construct. I mean, I can just tell, just when I'm holding it in my hand, I can tell it's the same kind of vibration. But when I hold them together, And yesterday when I was doing my readings for this round and I was holding these together, I got really teary-eyed. So I'm going to actually put that down because it really does make me emotional. I think it has to do with that heart center. It really blasts open your heart center, and it really connects you with the higher realms. So I'm using these stones with these readings, and that's what Spirit had wanted me to share with you, is the energetics that are being put into this reading. So not only are you listening to the words, but Spirit is putting energetics, light codes, this high resonant frequency in there. And then the last thing was, I also work with energetic sprays. So this spray is called Archangel Metatron, and it's called Sapphire. But the energy of this spray is divine peace energy, right? So I am going to spray this for this reading, and you can see. And the woman that creates these sprays, her name is Amanda Ellis. She is online. She is in the UK. And she does put essential oils in her things, as well as the stones, like little tiny stones that she will put in these bottles to help bring in those frequencies. So we're manifesting world peace as we speak. So Spirit, please utilize this energy in the best ways possible for the highest good of all of humanity and all living life here on planet Earth. Please bring peace, peace of mind, peace of heart, peace of soul. Okay, so I'm going to pull cards for you. I have already shuffled my decks. I am going to pull 2 oracle cards. One is an archangel card that you can work with specifically this week. You can work with them for as long as you like, but this card, this angel is kind of assigned to you. That's the way that Spirit kind of explained it to me. So I'm working with Archangel Michael and Metatron and Sanathon and Uriel, but mostly Metatron and Michael for this round of readings. So your first card is, I can forgive people quickly, release my resentment, and set myself free. So I don't know what this has to do with yet, but once we pull cards, maybe we'll get clarity on why this is coming up for you, Aries. And then your archangel is, Archangel Zadkiel. It's time for transmutation. Carry the violet flame. Now, I was just talking about transmutation because that's what all this Scorpio energy is. We can talk about that a little bit more, but here is your angel, and he is of this violet flame color. Zadkiel, Z-A-D-K-I-E-L, Zadkiel. I love that. The violet flame. If you don't know what the violet flame is, you can research that. I do use violet for protection. I have for a long time because violet purples are my favorite color. So I've been using the violet flame really often. So when I ground my body and I bring in the white light, I always bring in the violet flame as well, because it's the flame of transmutation. Please burn off anything I'm no longer needing, that no longer serves me, that does not resonate with my highest and best outcomes. Those are the types of things. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to pull your cards. At the very end, I'm going to pull your 5 main themes like I normally do. So let's see what Spirit wants to share with you. What do our Aries need to know for this week, please? Spirit. Calling in our highest. We're calling in our highest selves. We were calling in the God of our heart. We are calling in the angels, the angelics, our ancestors, our inner knowing. What do we need to know, please? I did get a new deck. This is called the Good Tarot. I really love the imagery. It reminds me a lot of the imagery, if you ever have seen the Cirque du Soleil acrobatics. They have very interesting costumes. It's kind of like that kind of energy for this deck. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm also going to pull clarifiers too. Can I please have clarifiers for the Four of Fire? Okay. So your first card, which is in your strengths position, is the Four of Fire. The Four of Fire is actually the Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands is a really great card. It's the energy of celebrations. It can represent you know, stability and balance within your intuition and in your motivation. It is a card of the 1111. So on the Rider Waite deck, this 1111 is, you've got the two wands on either side, and it's got this beautiful swag between it, and you're asked to walk through that 1111 portal gateway that's coming up. What, tomorrow? Tomorrow's the 1111. So that's what this energy represents, is the 1111. That is all about, those are angelic numbers, by the way. The 1111 is a portal. It's a portal that is recognized every year on the 1111, 11th month, 11th day. At 11 a.m., there's probably a meditation, a worldwide meditation for peace. So you can join that at 11 a.m. your time, wherever you are in the world, tomorrow on 11/11, and you will be joined by everybody else who is doing their meditations at 11/11 all across the world. And all you have to do is just sit and contemplate world peace. And you don't have to give it a lot of time, but just a little bit of effort. And if we all do it, just imagine that energy just flowing all the way around the world. Okay, so the Four of Fire. So that is a card of celebrations. So it could very well be that somebody's getting married that you know, or it could be a celebration of a retirement. It could be a celebration of a graduation, those types of things that you'd be celebrating with family and loved ones. It is also clarified by the Fool card. So the Fool card is the very first card in the major arcana, and the story of the tarot starts with this Fool. So the Fool is all about new beginnings. It's about, it seems as though there is energy here that there has been some type of a completion for some of you in your lives. It could be a completion of your retiring, right? It could be a completion of a step in your spiritual process. It could be a completion of, so that would also tap into this celebration too. If you are being recognized by spirit for your spiritual accomplishments, right? Working through dark night of the soul, really doing the inner work, really recognizing that you are a spark, you are a fractal, you are a piece of the God source, of the real God source. But whatever it is that you are celebrating, you are starting this new path, okay? This is a path where you are going to feel very, the Fool starts out very confident. He has a lot of self-belief. He has very little that he's taking with him because he believes in the adventure. He believes in things will manifest for him as he needs them, right? So that's kind of what this energy is. And then it's also followed up by this Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is an energy of a subtype of a message coming in, something that you're waiting for, a message, or perhaps you're going to give a message, something that is more of a mental type of a thing. Page of Air is also a confirmation of starting again, right? This is a new path, a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at your life. So if it is indeed a thing where you have graduated on your spiritual path, or you have, taken a step up because you've done a lot of inner work, this is confirming that you are kind of starting over, but at a higher level, right? You got more lessons to learn. And this Page of Air is saying that it's confirming that, but this is also letting you know that this is a new way of thinking for you. It could very well be with all this transmutation energy that is happening. It is a thing where you're going to be asking for forgiveness, and you are going to not only forgive people in your life, but you're forgiving yourself, right? And then the other thing is you are releasing any resentments that you may have. I feel like this is all tied together with this first column because this is your column of strength, right? So as this is talking about setting yourself free, I feel as though absolutely that's what this card is saying, is that you're starting over. You're starting with a clean slate. You are starting with layers of baggage being removed from your soul, okay? That you have worked through so much stuff to get where you are right now, that you're being recognized. These are your strengths for this week, okay? Now, what's either helping or hindering you is you have this Five of Wands. Now, the Five of Wands is typically a card about conflict. It's a card about some things that are coming in for you to, that could be considered conflict, could be the people around you. It could be that you are just going to stick up for yourself, right? That you are, you're in a place where people just keep rubbing you the wrong way. And you find a very nice, creative, inspirational, motivational way to get them to understand your point of view. The other thing that this card does represent too is training of some kind. So it could very well be that you're going to be taking some kind of a class. And as a lot of this energy that I'm feeling right here in this reading so far is that the classes that you may be taking may not necessarily be while you are awake, okay? I feel that when we go out in our sleep time, that we go to class on the other side, that we pull in information from that side so that we can, and that like stimulates some of our subconscious information, which triggers us to have dreams, because then we can pull in the information that we're learning from the other side through our dream state, figuring out what those are. And then, sometimes it's visuals in your dream state that you'll be pulling in that is going to have a magnetism for you. that is going to give you some type of an aha awareness, okay? Anyway, this 5 of fire could be training, and it could also be this conflict type of energy. Your next card, though, that is talking about this is the messenger of earth. So this right here is the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles, this is the slowest moving knight in the deck. His energy represents, though, he is a very hard worker. So it seems as though in your workspace, that would represent you, that you work very hard, you put a lot of energy into what you're doing, you make sure that all of anything that you put your hands on, that you do a good job with. This energy is also telling you that whatever it is that you're working on personally as goals or manifestations for yourself, that you really need to start taking action, because that's what the knights do. They take action. And while this guy is slow, he's really doing a lot of assessing of his home life. It could also be that he's doing a lot of assessing about his health, because this is also associated with the health card. But I'm not a doctor, so I can't really talk to that side of it. But I do know that maybe you could be waiting for some type of information to come in from some type of testing that you've done, or something like that will be clarified for you. But whatever it is, everything that we've just discussed about this column, which is in your helping or hindering, is definitely going to take a change, is going to change because of this Wheels of Fortune card. Now, the Wheel of Fortune card is karmic. So whatever this card is, if it's about your training and your teaching, of course, that would be karmic, because you're a soul trying to grow, right? But if this has to do with conflict, I feel as though that information will come through that will allow you to be able to defend yourself, if that's the energy that you need, or at least to be able to stick up for yourself, because that came through because of this Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana. The Wheel of Fortune is about karmic things, but it's also about evolution, and it is about your spiritual evolution again. So it looks as though whatever these things are going to be lessons for you, and how you are going to master what it is that surface, okay? Your next column has to do with your opportunities, and you have the World card. Now, the World is the last card. So as the Fool starts the major arcana, the World finishes the major arcana. So the Fool has to go through all these up and down and learn all his lessons before he gets to this point. But what this is saying is that, again, like I had mentioned, there is some big graduation or some big energy that's coming to an end, some type of a big karmic lesson, right? Because this card went directly to this card, and both of these are major arcanas. So it feels like to me that you are really progressing. You are making big, huge changes. You are learning a lot about yourself, about your surroundings, about being a spirit in a body, what that means to you personally, the connections between you and your family life, you and the people that you love, those type of things. That's a beautiful card. So the World card does mean that it is about perfect endings as well. It's about perfect endings, and it's about health and balance and feeling fulfilled, conclusions of things, which is why I say I feel like you've completed this big, huge karmic cycle, right? And it's definitely showing up right here. That card is been clarified by the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is The Page of Wands is a really fun card. So what this is telling me is regardless of what you are going through for this next week, right? All of the things that come in for you. One of the things that Spirit really wants you to know is that you need to have more fun. You need to really tap into your wand energy because this energy represents you, Aries, right? Have a little bit more fun, be a little bit more creative, go outside your box, your normal box, do something different, right? Go home and drive home a different way, change up your schedule in some way. It's telling you to be adventurous. It's telling you to break up your monotony. Okay, that's what I feel with this. And then with this nine of swords, this card has come up almost in every reading. Okay, now the Nine of Swords has to do with your dream space. It has to do with when you go to sleep at night, something is keeping you awake as your mind won't shut off. It's the monkey brain that keeps talking. So Spirit always tells me, and you've probably heard me say this, that the best thing to do is to write down whatever it is that your issues are that are bothering you, that you can't sleep, write those down right before you go to bed and tell yourself, I'll pick this pad up in the morning. And I know it seems silly. I absolutely know that this works because I've used this many times in my life. And basically what you're doing is you're telling your body, you're telling your mind, you're telling your subconscious, okay, I can't give you this time right now because I need sleep. I need rest. My body needs to go into recuperation. I need to go to sleep. But I've got everything down right here. You can see I wrote it. I'll pick this up in the morning and we'll deal with that tomorrow. And I'll tell you, it works. And I don't know why it works. I just know that it does. So if that's something that will help you, then please utilize that. The other thing that this is about too is Spirit always says when this card pops up that if you're not paying attention to your dreams, and we were just talking about your dreams, if you're not paying attention to your dreams, because that's what information comes through from your subconscious. Now, realize that your dream state, when it gives you these visions and it gives you, your dreams, whatever they may be, if you write down what those dreams are, the second you wake up in the morning, then you can start analyzing what those things mean to you. And then how that applies into your life, or what does that relate to, right? You got to find the things that relate. And it takes a little while for you to really be able to understand the language of your own subconscious. And it isn't something like you can go on the internet and say, oh, I saw bumblebees in my dreams. So what does that mean, right? I mean, you can do that, but I don't know if it's as helpful as if you figure it out for yourself. I feel like all of your answers are really within you, and you are your best guru, to be honest. Okay, Aries, let's go ahead and pull your 5 main themes, and your first card is a broken bridge. Unsuccessful outcome to a problem. The next one is a bridge. Successfully overcoming that problem. You can't make this stuff up. That's funny. Okay, and then we have a basket, recognition and reward for merit, which I was just talking about that, saying Spirit is recognizing all of your hard work. Good job, Aries. A cane, pay attention to your health. That's good information. Make sure you're eating clean, drinking your water, getting sleep, self-care, take care of you. And then you have a heart, which says great happiness. This has been a beautiful reading. I hope that you have found something in here that resonates with you. It looks like you're doing an amazing job, Aries, at all of your spiritual work. It looks as though a lot of you have come a really, really long way. You've learned a lot of your lessons along the way. You're being recognized for that. Spirit is championing you. If you feel this next week that you need help on any level, whatever it is, talk to Archangel Zadkiel. Remember to use the violet flame, carry the violet flame with you this week, and see how that helps you. If you have any comments for me, I read all your comments. I do respond. I do love to read them. I like to know how my readings are resonating with people. So please feel free to do that. And again, like and subscribe. And until next time, take very good care of you. And don't forget to do your new moon manifestations on the 13th. Cheers.